Welcome, welcome, welcome. Was that an awesome video? That was last year's event, our first annual event. We hosted at the Childersville Magnolia Place. So we've come a long way in just 1 year. So I want to thank you guys. My name is Franco Vega. I'm the executive director of the RightWay Foundation. I was abused as a little kid. I'm the baby of Yoli and Ricky Vega. And my mom had a rough life, and she took it out on the kids. My father was a great father, horrible husband. You can have that. You can have a great father but a horrible husband. And his disease was alcoholism. He drunk himself to death. The doctors told him, don't drink or smoke no more. We're going to do surgery on you November 19th. Halloween, he wanted to party. That was his last party. He died November 1st when I was 10 years old. He was a great man, once again, a great father, horrible husband. And this is very important because he loved us so much, and he did so much bad things to my mom that she couldn't hurt him, so she took it out on us. And I know we have DCFS in the house. It wasn't your fault, I promise you guys. It was my mom's fault. And I lived through that pain. She forced me to run to the streets. And when I say she forced me, because being a kid from 5 years old to 12, 13, 14, I'm going to make my own decisions. So I joined a gang at 12 years old. Started gang banging unsuccessfully. Got shot at the age of 12, got stabbed in the head, and got stabbed in the finger all before 15. I'm sending my new addresses in LP, Los Padrinos, and my mom dies of cancer when I was in there. She knew she was dying of cancer, but never told us. I can give her a little bit of credit for this one. She taught us how to shop and cut coupons, how to iron our clothes, and how to cook at a young age because she knew she was dying. And so when she died, and I'm an active gang member, first thing I started crying like a little boy. Said, who's going to take care of Frankie? I said, call me Frankie. And I'm a hardcore wannabe gang member at this time. But the first thing when I heard of her death, I started crying, who's going to take care of me? And it said my sister took off, got pregnant, went on her own life. My brother was playing, great athlete, playing varsity football. He went to fend for himself. But then I left little Frankie out there. Fortunately, I was adopted by an African-American family at the age of 15. So I'm full-blooded Latino, but I sound African-American. I'm not going to deny it, so I always tell the joke I went from the chocolate to Kool-Aid overnight. My black family taught me love and gave me everything at 15. She used to say, Frankie, you was a gangbanger when your mom was alive, or you will still be that kid now that she's dead, and your father will look and see you. And that stuck in my head. At 15 years old, I moved from Cudahy, I call it East LA, to Mid-City LA. Dorsey High was my home school. I went there for one day because they don't like blue. And I used to like blue. So I learned that real quick if you gang people know me. And so I checked out of there, and kicked down to Westchester, Palisades, Bell High, Union High, and then LAUSD had a meeting and said, Franco, you're not a good fit for LAUSD. And I agreed. I said, LAUSD, you're not a good fit for Franco. So we parted ways. I graduated from a probation school, and I went off and joined the military. Last year, if you was at our event, my buddy introduced me to Michael, and he said, praising me for going to the military. I went to the military because I had nothing else. The great president, I'd say this sarcastically, Ronald Reagan, cut off the Social Security for kids at 19. It used to be the law that you could have Social Security all the way until you're 26. But Ronald Reagan came in and changed that. And I can remember my mom crying when he changed that law. She knew she was dying, but she thought Social Security would save me. And it didn't. So at 18, 19, I joined the military, and I shipped myself off to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault School, Pre-Ranger School. And the funny thing I want to share with you guys today is that for us, and we have a great keynote speaker today, and one of our youth said yesterday about growing up, and we've been through the hardest. And for some odd reason, and I blame this sarcastically on God, he always puts me to the hardest test. So when I joined the military, I went to the most hardest elite division in the free world, 101st Airborne Division. They sent me to Air Assault School, jumping out of helicopters that I didn't sign up for. I went to pre-ranger school, not ranger school, pre-ranger school. Another hard thing, 3 weeks of pre-ranger school to qualify to go to ranger school. And they asked me, well, Private Vega, you graduated from pre-ranger school. Are you going to go to ranger school now? Heck no, I'm not going to pre-ranger school right now. And they said, why? And I said, because there's 3 things in ranger school you don't get when you go through the training. And that's sleep, food, and to date girls. I am not going. I am not going. And so, back to the point of the story is that God always puts me in hard situations, but due to the abuse and the pain I went through, I'm well prepared for this. I am well prepared. We started RightWay Foundation about 2.5 years ago. I'm headquarters located inside the Children's Bureau Magnolia Place Community Initiative. And when I first started RightWay Foundation, it was just a foundation to serve the community with jobs. We do all the hiring for LA Live Staples Center. I've been a part of that foundation, partnership for 5 years. Fonda, can you raise your hand? One of our foster youth, we got her a job there at AEG and LA Live. And so I was bringing all of our resources to the Magnolia Place Community Initiative. And then Airmark, we're not on them right now because they're a great partner. Airmark reached out to us and said, can we do the hiring for here? Or maybe the hiring for here. And I'm always saying yes. When it comes to hiring, RightWay Foundation, we can do it. And so they said, well, we need to hire 75 to 150 people. I said, yes, without blinking my eye. Yeah, we can do that too. And so I put that on my Facebook, and Keith Johnson saw it and said, well, how come you don't give the jobs to foster care youth? You know, and you're going to meet Keith in a little bit. And I said, okay, let me look at it. We looked at the statistics, the horrible numbers. The 70% of people going through the prison system come from foster care. The girls who are victims of sex trafficking come from DCFS. So we looked at those numbers, and we said, oh, yes, we're going to do this. But we knew it was just not an employment program is what they needed. It's not a job. A job is not the answer. Yes, I am an employment center, I do hiring, but it's more than that. So that's our program in a nutshell. We promote therapy at the same time with job readiness training and financial literacy. Let me thank some certain people before we go into our program. The worst thing I hate is when executive directors give a great speech and don't thank the people who contribute. And we have a lot of people in here who contribute to the RightWay Foundation. I'm not gonna lie, I don't do this by myself. It's because of partners. And let me give a shout out to the LIFT program. LIFT, can you raise your hand? LIFT program is an awesome program that they have decided to partner with us, and they set up the financial literacy inside of our workshop. So for 7 weeks, they bring in the professionals from USC school and Capital Financial Group, and they provide some lovely food. Don't get mad at me, my old timers. They say the food is getting better. But you know, when you start off, it's Little Caesar pizzas. You know, one pizza $5. I'm not gonna lie. But now it's moved up. What we do? Power downtown. All right, and so LIFT provides that support for us. And you've seen in the video that they was getting awards, and that's compliments of the LIFT program. LIFT is a great program that you guys need to know about, LIFT LA. It's a nationwide program, but now they're coming to the West Coast. And I'm very, very excited for that partnership. So thank you guys. We have the Children's Bureau in the house. Where's my Children's Bureau team? Right there. Over 100-year-old foundation. The partnership I love with them is first for giving me the opportunity. A little kid from Cudahy, California, that went through all kind of terrible things, but they had faith in me and said, we'll support you while you start the RightWay Foundation. And they were our physical agents for 2 years. And you see that big, beautiful building we're in? Eventually, we're going to have to build one of those buildings. And I'm nervous because it's the energy in that building that the Children's Bureau has created. Let's not lie. When you walk into that building, you treat it with respect and dignity. Our kids love to come to that building. And that's not no lie. Thank you, guys. Make sure I'm covering. Okay, let me get to my TJ Maxx team. Robert Portugal, can you raise your hand? He's the big chief. Jerome Harris, right next to him. Big chief with Loss Prevention Division. They really supported it. If you remember my story, they kicked it off with $5,000. I took $5,000 and turned it into this, and that was through their support, and thank you guys. So let's get into the show, and I'll thank some more people later on when it pops up. So let me talk about, let's give our first award out to our top corporate sponsor, and that's going to go to Airmark. Airmark, once again, and this is what happened a year and a half ago with Airmark. It was through a partnership in Orange County that someone called me and said Airmark needed some help. So Airmark reached out to me and said, hey, can we use you guys to outreach? Because they did an outreach and they put it online. And you have to take a basic math test to come work for Airmark in this beautiful arena. And when they put the ad out without using us, 1,000 people showed up. And about 70% of those people failed the basic math test. And I'm not saying that our community is dumb or nothing of that nature. The education system is to blame, but they tried to do it on their own, and they reached out to us and said, well, you know, we reached out to a bunch of people and almost all of them failed the math test. So they said, can you handle it and take on this challenge? We said, heck yeah, right away. So what we did right away is recruit about 150 people, gave them the pre-assessment to make sure they qualified. And then we set it up with Airmark, came down to our facility, and we did the hiring on the spot. And this top corporate sponsor goes to Airmark. So right now I want to bring up Paul Chapman. He's the general manager of this beautiful facility, and take this award in gratitude on our behalf. Come on down, Paul.
Okay, good to go, good to go.
Thank you, Paul. You know, Paul, they've hired over 100 of us. A couple of our students, well, where's she at? Is she working the door? Is Jordan here? Where's Jordan? Jordan right there. They gave her her first job. That's one of our students. $11 an hour. I'm 40. I didn't get $11 an hour when I first joined the Army. Good Lord, good job. So let's move on to our next person. Is Lori Irving here, Dangerfield Group Home? Okay, she's probably, due to the weather, she's running late. But let's go on to our next person. This is our Commitment Award. It's going to go to foster care account Winnie Wexler. We're going to turn the mic over to Winnie.
Thank you, Franco. I don't want to keep everybody, but I do want to say that the reason why we support the RightWay Foundation is because, and when I say we, some of you may know me in my work with foster care accounts. I'm on the board there. Some of you may know me through the Anthony and Jeannie Pritzker Family Foundation, which I also work with. And the foundation is a grant-making organization. Foster Care Counts is one of the grantees of our foundation, as well as a fundraiser in its own right, and an organization that's committed to increasing the resources devoted to the youth who are in programs like Operation Emancipation. And I want to acknowledge Gillis Garcia from CASA. She told us about Franco and about the RightWay Foundation just a year ago. And my first exposure was this event 1 year ago. And in the past year, I've seen the ups and downs that the organization has gone through. And, but it's all about helping kids get the support they need. We see you do that, Franco. We support you because we know you're doing what's in the best interest of so many of the youth, and really serving as an example that we want to help succeed. And I also want to acknowledge Judge Sherry Sobel, who's here in the crowd, and who we've also gotten to know through Franco, and whose work has been so important to the entire system of care here in this community for so many years, and who is likewise, like us, huge supporters of the RightWay Foundation. So when I see people like Dillis and Sherry and the other people that you've already acknowledged and will be acknowledging, I mean, that's what it's all about, all of us coming together and creating the kind of network of support that is going to take to really make things change. And just one last acknowledgement is some guests here today from the LA Chamber of Commerce who are likewise joining in and looking at ways that the whole community can come together to help support jobs, create jobs, and see success in jobs for the foster youth in Los Angeles, and really serve as an example to the rest of the country in that respect. One last acknowledgement is the Alliance for Children's Rights, and I know that you have a partnership also with RightWay Foundation, and again, the more organizations that we can bring to this, the more that we can get people to focus on this being the right issue for us all to be thinking about in terms of independence for our kids and self-sufficiency, the more we're going to be a strong community. So, thank you.
Let me give this next award to Dillis Garcia. I apologize for not reading the awards. This is an award of excellence, and it's presented to Dillis Garcia, Executive Director of CASA Los Angeles. And this is a good quote. It says, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Winston Churchill. This really expresses CASA. And so, without further ado, let me give this award to Dillis Garcia. Turn it over to you, my dear. Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
I am moved to be here today, and I want to say congratulations to all the youth who are here, graduates, and some of you soon-to-be graduates. And I guess the only thing I want to say to you is remember farther down the line to pay it forward, because it's paying it forward that has everybody here today. We are very proud to be in partnership with Franco and with the RightWay Foundation. I remember the day that we're Sam here and I have a CASA in the house who's a man and leading the charge. Sam came to see us, and where's Dana? Dana was the other person. So, you know, people who came and tugged on my hair and said, "You need to hear this." And we began working together. And the reason that we paid attention was because here was somebody trying to do something that worked. And I see folks nodding over here, and that's really what it's about. It's easy to read the New York Times, the LA Times, to get really caught up in all the things that are wrong and be fixing. But when you find somebody with boots on the ground doing something that works, we all need to get behind it. And that's why we're working with the RightWay Foundation. So thank you.
One more quick speech about recruiting for men. I've been in meetings this past year as executive director, and I get to now go behind the scenes. And all the meetings I've went to and the most successful meetings I've been having is with these women, Dillis, Winnie, and fellas. I'm just going to be anti-men again. We need to pick up the ball. We need to do it right. We need to be their support and work with them. Or, hey, I don't care. I'll be the only man at the table surrounded by successful women, and I don't mind that. But I'm just giving that speech out, and hopefully men can get involved with CASA. CASA is a great program. We're the eyes and ears of the judges. We do our reports to the judges. We go to court with the youth. How many CASA kids, youth, do we have in the house? Who's a CASA youth? Do we have any? Right there, young lady right there. And one thing I noticed when I see CASA's youth and other kids who don't have CASAs, it's a stronger support system they already have, you know. And I would love for more men to get involved because we need more CASAs. Everyone deserves a CASA. That's how I see it. All you guys deserve a CASA. And so thank you, Bill. So our next award, and this is a big award, the Operation Emancipation Award. It goes to my man, Keith Johnson. Keith, before he comes up, give Keith a round of applause. Keith hired me, I don't know, years and years ago, 15, 18 years ago, with Ron Johnson's program. So that's how far we go way back. Keith has his own program, Falcon Youth Services. It's a Pop Warner League, but it's not a football program. It's not a football program. You've probably seen him on Channel 4, cooking to serve his program and selling smoked turkeys, and we've bought one. But I love his concept, and he'll share it with you more. I love it when you have little athletes who can play football really well, and then they get a bad report card, and he has brought a mobile trailer, and so they have to sit in the mobile trailer in their football gear and do their homework while they're watching other players on the field. That's awesome. So without further ado, come on down to the Johnson. I can probably run to the restroom, because here you go, Keith Johnson.
First of all, I want to thank the RightWay Foundation and everyone who supports the work of Franco. Franco is a diligent worker with a passion to improve the lives of young people. And so everyone who has bought into that passion and that dream and that vision, I want to tell you thank you very much. Franco only told half the story about me hiring him. It is true that I did hire Franco when I was the director of Rights of Passage program under Ron Johnson. And so I hired Franco under a pretense that I was completely wrong. So in the office one day, and a young man comes in, a Latino man come in with his mom who didn't speak English. And I'm like, great, Franco, we got a Spanish speaker out front, and I need you to talk to her. So she doesn't speak English. Franco says to me, I don't speak Spanish. No, that's what I hired you for, man. So we've been working together since. I'll keep this brief. I too am a former foster youth. I entered the foster care system at the age of 3. I had 11 different placements in the 8 years that I was in the system. If there was a deep alphabet in the 60s, I would have been ADD, ADHD, bipolar. You name it, that would have been behind my name. I eventually left the foster care system, and now we call it relative caregiving, but I went to live with my grandparents. And I continued to give them about 3 or 4 years of hell on earth. Finally, I had an epiphany. My mother's last words to me as I left her house was, "You're not going to be SHIT like your father." That's the last words that she had to me. I was on my way to join the Main Street Crip. I was on my way to 98th and Main, which was a headquarters then, and in some ways a headquarters now. Waiting for me on the corner of 98th and Main was Monkey and Bear and Todd. Todd now has one eye because he got shot in the eye. I get to 97th and Main, and while I'm there for 1 second, a truck rolls by, and I hear my mother's voice say, "I told you you wasn't going to be that word." Another voice said, "Go home." Unfortunately, I listened to that voice, and I ran home, and I fell on my grandfather's lap that I affectionately called Daddy, and I said, "Daddy, I need help." And he said to me, "Hallelujah, Daddy Jesus, I've been telling you you've been crazy for years. Let's go get you some help." And I finally consented to therapy. I finally consented to therapy. And I say consent to therapy because my folks over here understand we have therapy from the moment we hit the foster care system, but therapy doesn't work for us because we don't want it to work for us. We're not ready to deal with the issues that we have to deal with. And so we play the therapy game. We either go into therapy or don't say nothing at all. The problem with that game is that you have to be here for the whole 50 minutes. Or you want therapy, you tell the therapist whatever you want to hear so you can get out of here in 15 minutes. So I played the therapy game. But when I finally got serious with therapy, I developed a life model that I've shared with my babies repeatedly. And that is this. It doesn't matter what your mother, father did or did not do, could or could not have done, would or would not have done, or should or should not have done. The only thing that matters is that they gave you life. And you need to determine what kind of life you want to live. It doesn't matter what our mother or father did or didn't do, could or could not have done, would or would not have done, should or should have. The only thing that matters is them giving you life. We have to determine what kind of life we want to live. I end with this story. There was a man who had 2 sons. He was abusive to those sons, abusive to those sons. He was an alcoholic. He wasn't just an alcoholic, he was a sloppy alcoholic. He wasn't just a sloppy alcoholic, he was a drunk. He was a violent, sloppy alcoholic drunk that beat his kids repeatedly. He would go into town and he would fall out into a drunken stupor, and the sons would have to go get him and bring him back home. And when he arrives out of his drunken stupor, he would once again begin to beat his sons. One of the sons grew up, and he too became an alcoholic, but not just an alcoholic, a violent alcoholic, not just a violent alcoholic, a drunk, and he beat his wife and his kids. The other brother grew up also. He graduated from high school. When he graduated from high school, he went on to college. And he went on to college, he went to med school. When he went on to med school, he became an intern. When he finished his internship, he became a surgeon. When he finished the surgeon, he became a chief surgeon. When he finished becoming a chief surgeon, he became a chief of staff of a major hospital. And the reporter found out about these 2 brothers whose lives took a completely different turn. And when he interviewed both brothers and said, how did you become the man that you are? How did you become the drunk that's a violent drunk, that's a sloppy drunk, that beat your wife, that beat your kids? How did you become this man? How did you become this man that sits in this office as a chief of staff of a major medical hospital, and he was once the chief surgeon, and he was once a top surgeon, and he was once an intern, and he was once a pre-med student, and once, how did you become this man? And the answer surprised the reporter, because both brothers gave the same answer. And they said, with a father like mine, what did you expect I would become? You know what that says? That these babies can become great if we support them. Because with a father like ours, we have no choice. Because the choice that rests on us, and the reason why Franco worked so hard, is that there are some hard choices out there. There are some predators waiting on those babies that we don't want to speak about. There are pimps lined up waiting on our girls. 3,000 of them. Deborah Mann is back there. She can talk about it. 3,000 of them whore themselves on the street. 13, 14, 15. And the pimps are waiting on them because when they run away from home, no one comes to look for them. And then we have a prison industrial complex that's waiting on our boys. Private prisons that have contracts with the state of California that says, we will build this prison, but you will guarantee that it will be full. And for every bed that is open, you will pay us for the empty bed. Do you understand what that means? You understand that when a private company says that now lives will be our commodity, and he makes that deal with the governor. Now the governor got to talk to the legislators, and the legislators got to talk to the judge, and those people that probably should go home is now going to go to prison because somebody got to pay that bill. That the industrial prison complex is indeed the new slavery, and our foster kids is the new cotton that's waiting on them. Somebody has to tell the truth. So somebody got to roll their sleeves up. Take time out there, too busy schedule, doing nothing. Spending money we don't have, buying things we don't need, to impress people we don't even like. We need to stop doing that. And get to the place where we serve our babies. Thank you.
We're going to have a brief intermission and have a band play for us some music, and then we're going to have a great keynote speaker, and then we're going to honor these beautiful youth. But I have to thank my advisory board members first before we go on. Through this event today, we raised close to over $10,000. And it wouldn't have been possible from these members, these advisory board members. Rochelle Alley, can you raise your hand? Sam Herard, raise your hand. Sam Casa. Robert Portugal. Wayne Taylor was my lawyer, buddy. Good job. Stan Skates is not here. Okay, Stan, okay, I don't want to, okay, he's not here. He's working hard with DPSS. And so without these people taking charge and doing our online fundraising campaign, I wouldn't have reached my goal. I'm good at running programs. I'm good at motivating these kids. I'm not good at this fluffy fundraising. And without you, this wouldn't be possible. And I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys. All right. Right now, we're going to bring on a music guest, Joss and Chris. They're big fans and supporters of our program. You have a flyer inside your program. And they're doing a fundraising campaign in January, and it has the dates on here for January 7th and 21st. And it's at a restaurant in West Hollywood. And they believe in giving back, and I love their act and their gig because they perform at these clubs and these restaurants, and while they're performing, they pass around a fishbowl, and people just give money and just give money and give money. And we're the charity of choice for these two next month, for these 2 days, and they have a song for us, and I want to turn it over to you guys. Okay, people, when the mayor was first elected, Mayor Garcetti, we knew he was a foster parent. And we knew right away, we have a friend in City Hall. And so we sent him an email, congratulated him, and said, would he be kind enough to find us someone for our keynote speaker who can come down here and give a great speech to our youth and our young people. And he sent us an email saying Shane Goldsmith. And so we sent the email out to Shane, and right away she said yes. Even though she's brand new executive director of a major foundation, she said yes to us. And I want to bring her down, and it's an honor to have her here. And the reason I really enjoy the new relationship I have with Shane is she said yes, but she said, no, Franco, I want to meet your youth, you know. You have some people who want to be keynote speakers to everything, and they don't know nothing about the program, you know. And not Shane. She said, I want to meet your youth, let's set it up. So she came down to us yesterday to interview our students, and everyone knows we're not a fluff program, so I didn't tell my students what to say. I said, tell her the truth. Tell her about our program. where we need to work at, where we need help at, where we have some things wrong, and where we can correct them. And it was a great 1-hour luncheon with her. And let's please give her a round of applause. Shane Goldsmith, Executive Director, Liberty Parents Foundation.
On Tuesday, I packed up my 5-year-old foster daughter and put her in the car as she goes off, hopefully, to what is her permanent adoptive home. I love her. Her name's Destiny. I love her with all my heart. I've had her on and off since she was born. And it is scary to put her into this car and entrust her back into this system that has sent her back to her abusive parents over and over. And as she drove away, I thought, her life's ruined. She doesn't stand a chance. After all of the abuse that she's been through by her parents and by the foster care system, she doesn't stand a chance. That was Tuesday. Yesterday, I had lunch with these amazing youth, foster youth. And it changed everything. And what I was really struck by was that you all have been wronged countless times by the foster care system. Your parents are in jail, homeless, on the streets, drug addicts. But you're funny. You're smart. You're hopeful. You're ambitious. If my Destiny can turn out like you, then there is hope for her. So thank you for giving me back my hope for Destiny. Terrence told me yesterday that when he showed up for his first day at RightWay Foundation, he thought, what am I doing here? And he said he had to battle the demons in his head for weeks, who told him, you don't belong here, you don't need help, you're not going to get help, you don't want help, nobody can help you. And all of you told me that you had lost all faith in anything that has the words foster care in it. So imagine how hard it was for them to just show up at the RightWay Foundation. And you did not show up full of hope and optimism. But here you are today, knowing that you can handle whatever life throws your way. And you're ready. Danielle went through RightWay's financial literacy program and in 8 weeks saved $3,000 and bought her first car. A Mustang. Jessica has a job at USC, Terrence works for UPS, Mitsu works at a law firm, Anthony scored an internship at a music store, Jordan got hired by RightWay Foundation, and several of you are serving as mentors for young people coming up through the system. So raise your hand if you've been part of the RightWay program through the help you get a job, help you keep a job, raise your hand. Hands up high. Now let's put our hands together for Franco and the whole team who makes it possible. Thank you for doing everything the right way, Franco. After my lunch with a few of you yesterday, I began to think about the word emancipation. That's a big, important word in American history. Emancipation. I looked it up. Here's what it means. The fact or process of being set free from legal, social, political restrictions. Liberation. Freedom. And yet for foster youth, emancipation too often means abandonment. You go from a place where the supposed helpers are really takers, where they're just trying to get what they can out of the system, not trying to help you when you're in need. And then you get emancipated, and you move on to nothing. No safety net, no support services, no job, no home, nothing to fall back on. And I have been where you are. I was an orphan, I had no one to take care of me, and not a penny to my name. But you are ready, because of the RightWay Foundation. But there are thousands of people coming up behind you who aren't. Where I work at Liberty Hill, our motto is change, not charity. So I asked the youth yesterday, if you could change one thing about the system, what would you change? And I wanted to share with you what they told me. Terrence, who's been through it all. He's been on the streets. I won't go into all of it. That's your story. But he is a hard guy. And I asked him what would he change about the system, and he said, love. He wants more love in the system. Fewer services, more love. And then Jordan said, I never imagined I would have the power to change the system, so I never even thought about what I would change. Well, I'm here to tell you, you have the power to change the system. You are emancipated. So it's time to take back that word and make it the big, powerful, freedomful thing it's supposed to be. It's time for all of you to follow in the footsteps of a great emancipator, Nelson Mandela, who said, always keep your head pointed toward the sun and your feet moving forward. So here's the challenge that I present to you. What would a system look like that truly supported foster youth? What would emancipation be like if it truly gave foster youth the freedom to fly? I want you to think about your answers to that question, whatever they are, and make a commitment today to make it real. Now, Mandela also said, it always seems impossible until it's done. So with your emancipation, you may want to fly far away from here, but make a commitment to circle back. Because there are kids behind you, like my sweet Destiny, who need you to inspire them, to show them hope, and to transform the system into a system full of love. Thank you.
This comes from Mayor Garcetti's office. In recognition of your commitment and completion of Operation Emancipation, anything and everything is possible when you go from a point of pain to power. Best wishes and for continued success in your future endeavors. December 19th, 2013, Eric Garcetti, Mayor, City of Los Angeles. So, this first award goes out to my man, Terrace Milton. Come on down.
Congratulations.
Next one goes to our star, Rudy Godo. Rudy.
Now, real quick story. Rudy, we spent a lot of time together, especially on the filming, and we get long drives in my car, and he gets it. You know, he gets it. When I'm a father of a 6-year-old boy too, and everything my parents didn't give to me, I can give to my son, and he repeated that back to me. So when he becomes a man and starts to have kids and start a family, he can do the same thing. Everyone, don't lie to yourself right now. You always want to pick over your kid over your head and walk around the parks at Disneyland. And they can do that. And we're trying to get them to see that. And he gets it. So thank you, Rudy.
Next one comes down, Fonda Williams. Come on down, Fonda.
While she's walking up here, this young lady came to our program. We sent her to LA Live right away. She got hired at $12 an hour. Good Lord. Good job. Congratulations. She wants to say something.
Hi everyone, my name is Fonda. I just want to say that I really appreciate the RightWay Foundation because before I came to them, I was trying to do it on my own and I wasn't getting anywhere. And the only reason I actually found out about it is I have a little sister over there who made me come, and because of her I got a job. She works now too. And I just want to say thank you so much to the RightWay Foundation because I think I still be struggling if I never came.
Let's bring on her sister, Ladina Williams.
And she's presently working with UPS. This is a young lady who bought her a car after learning from the Lyft program. Lyft, once again, has partnered with us for financial literacy, so it is a joint effort. She was smart enough to see her take her Chafee grant from college and stop spending money on fast food, and she bought herself a car. And what's funny is that she was always on time before she had the car. I don't understand it, but then she told me she figured she doesn't know the streets, she's used to the buses, and now she's late because she doesn't know where to drive to, but oh, she's a beautiful young lady. Danielle Reed, come on down. Another movie star from our video clip. This young lady's only 17, and yes, we went through the courts to permission to videotape her and through her lawyers, and she's just an awesome young lady, and I can't wait to see where she ends up in the future. For 17, she's such a strong woman. Adela, come on down. I am not going to mess up her name, but this lovely young lady, she went through our TJ Maxx summer program, and they hired her right away. And so let's bring on Zalea Z. Come on down. Congratulations. Okay. Small world, and her judge is right here, Judge Solo. And that was not planned, people. We're not a fluff program. We didn't plan that. Okay. Next one. I'm going to have to stand. I'm going to tippy toes for this lovely young lady, future model or attorney. Let's not do model. Let's do attorney. Okay. Modeling for attorneys. Okay. Veronica Ango, come on down.
You really are shaking.
Come on. Let's go to short one. Thank you, thank you. last but definitely not least, is he in the house? Where'd he go? Where's my man? Where's my man, my tattoo guy? Take off. Oh, he took off? Okay. Well, this one, and we'll share the information with my guy, Anthony. He's such a strong gentleman. He's the one with tattoos. Great poem writer, very gifted, very gifted. But unfortunately, he took off. He had to do something. But let's give him a round of applause just in spirit. We're about to wrap it up, and we want to thank all you guys. This, once again, is just not about the RightWay Foundation. We can't do it without you guys. We can't do it without foster care accounts. We can't do it without CASA. We can't do it without Keith Johnson, LIFT program, and the Magnolia Place Community Initiative. Everyone plays a major role in our success, and we look forward to 2014. And please drop us a line. Call us and let's work together to make sure that these kids have a brighter future and they're not the cotton for the prison industrial complex. We can give them the chance that they deserve. And I want to just give a shout out to my man Thomas Lee from Youth Moving on Hillside. Great guy. And thank you guys for all supporting the RightWay Foundation. I really appreciate it.